This is a pest control video and contains images some viewers may find distressing.
Welcome to Midland Squirrel Hunter. I'm back up at the rookery, but before getting into this video, I just want to say a real big thank you to everybody that commented on the last video via YouTube, sent messages via Instagram, real positive feedback on the video as a whole and on Andrew's part, and I know that Andrew received quite a lot of messages through Instagram. Some of you are very happy to see him back, which is a real positive thing. He will be putting a bit more content into my videos in the future, so stick around for that. We are back up at the rookery, as I've just said, but it might seem a bit boring, like I'm shooting the same feeder all the time. This is how we have to work here. We tend to stay on a feeder until we've knocked the numbers right down, so we're getting no visits and nothing on trail cameras. Then we'll move on to a new area, and we just alternate like that, and then this will then pick back up. As you all know, anybody that culls greys and dispatches greys, you can never get rid of them. They just keep coming and coming, so we just try and stay around the same feeder until the numbers are down, and then we'll move on. I don't know if you can hear, they've quietened down a little bit now, but there's a hell of a lot of songbirds in this area. Now, when I came here 3 years ago, there was hardly any. You'd have the odd robin, great tit, blue tit, the most common songbirds, but you wouldn't see many wrens or anything like that. It was kind of scarce, dead on the ground, but now they really are abundant. The numbers have increased massively. We're seeing wrens, we're seeing nuthatches, tree creepers, you name it, they're more or less here in the songbird family. It'd be really interesting if any of you could leave some comments on what the situation's like in the areas that you're protecting and where you're dispatching greys, whether you've seen an increase, what kind of birds you've got there as well. That'd be really interesting. So that's enough of me talking. I'm going to get set up and get into the hide. I will just run you over the rifle quickly. It's the same old setup. I've got the FX DRS, I've got the Donny FL Fat Boy silencer, Sabre Tactical Arca. I've got on there the DNT Zulus 5x20 day and night scope, really good scope, and I have just purchased a magazine. As you can see, it's 22 caliber, sub 12 foot-pound. This magazine is from eBay. It was around about 20 to 25 pound, I can't remember off the top of my head. Works really well. I've not done a squirrel shoot with it yet, but I've done a lot of zeroing, and it's just as good, if not better, than the standard magazine that comes supplied with the rifle. Right, I'm going to get in there and be quiet. Tripod set up, rifle set up, scopes turned on, ready to go. I am going to quieten down because as I was doing that introduction, I did see a squirrel on the tree making its way to the feeder. Obviously ran off because I was making a bit of noise, so I'm going to quieten down now and hopefully he'll come back. First one down then, good start to the morning. Been here about 20 minutes. Difficult to see them coming up from the bottom of the tree, as that one did. Got a lot of low level bramble and probably about a foot of vision from the bottom of the feeder to the top of the bramble. So by the time I'm set up, they're already on the feeder. As I say, that one came up from the bottom. It's a lot better when they're coming from the top of the tree because I can watch them come down, get a bit more footage for you guys. It's not so instant, but nice pellet placement. I did have to wait for that one to turn because he had his back to me, so once he took the second nut, fortunately turned towards me, was able to put the shot in. Nice pellet placement there, knocked it straight down. I'm not going to go out and retrieve because it is early and we could potentially have a few more visitors hanging around. So I'll get back onto the rifle. There is another squirrel around. It's been on the tree, flicking its tail around, so I imagine it's seen the one that's on the floor, and I think that's where it is at the minute, investigating. So hopefully this one comes up onto the feeder. I may have to go out and retrieve once I've taken this shot. tree, as I imagined, probably investigating the one that's on the floor already. That shot, it did look like it jumped, so I am going to go out and retrieve both of them just to make sure that that one's been dispatched properly. Hopefully it has, so we'll go out now and I'll get them both in. So I can see two squirrels on the floor. Don't look like any of them are moving. There's one. And there's the other. Well, while I'm at the hide, thought it'd be a good idea to just stinch them two up that I've retrieved using one of the carriers that I make. So just before rigor mortis sets in, get that over the back legs before they stiffen up and get back into the hide. So I've been back in the hide about 15 minutes after stinching them last two up, and number 3 came along. So that one's been knocked off the feeder. I'm quite confident with that shot, the way that it fell, kind of tumbled off with the feeder. Heard no noise after either. Again, came from the bottom of the tree, so kind of difficult to get any footage before it got onto the feeder for you guys. But that's just the price you pay when you're shooting in the spring. In summer, you've got a lot of foliage, stinging nettles and bramble that grow really tall, but at the minute they're not really a problem. I can see that in the next few weeks there may be, so I'm going to have to do some trimming back. I am going to leave that one because I'm quite confident that it's been dispatched, and I don't want to be in and out of the hide every 5 minutes making a noise, so I'll just leave that. Don't know if you just heard that, but there's an owl around. It's about 6:20, so probably just making its way back. Real positive start to the morning. So that's number 4 down, as you see from that clip. Startled me a little. I was just making a cup of tea, looked up and it was coming up from the bottom of the tree onto the feeder. Fortunately I managed to get the footage of that. Yeah, didn't expect to get that many this early on today. I didn't really expect to get that many at all, because as you know from the last video that I did, same area, the rookery, I took 3 from this feeder. Last weekend I took 5 over 2 days. Today we're on 4 already, and I'll be here for probably another 2 to 3 hours. So yeah, it's a real good sign that we are clearing the area. We tend to stay on feeders for a certain amount of time until we get no more visits and no footage on trail cameras. Then we'll move on to the next one, which for me will probably be the coppice or the big feeder. And I'll do the same there, but keep the cameras and the feeder topped up in this area until the activity picks back up, and then we just alternate like that. It seems to work, and we seem to get the numbers right down doing that, rather than just alternating every different week, going to different feeders. Don't really seem to make much progress on knocking the numbers down doing that, really. That's the 5th one knocked down. Real good morning, to be honest. I wasn't expecting this kind of number today, especially in this area. As I say, done a lot of work here. So that wasn't the only visit I had. I also had a visit from a European murderer on it. They're about 2 inches, 50 odd mil, 5 centimetres. Could hear it outside the hide, buzzing around. Sounded like a helicopter. Flew in, literally turned around, flew straight back out, which I'm very, very thankful about. Not a fan of them in a confined area, to be honest. It's not the best thing you want in your hide. So the fifth squirrel, again, to come up from the bottom. That foliage is actually starting to annoy me now, to the point where I think next week I'll be chopping that back. We'll do a few more visits to this feeder, depending on trail camera and whatnot. So yeah, it's just very difficult, but there's something I should be doing. This scope actually has a real good feature. If you press record and then put it into standby, as soon as you turn it back on, it will start to record instantly from 0, so it's not going to waste any battery or anything like that. I'll try and practice what I preach. Hopefully we can get a few more. I'm going to be quiet and give it another hour or so, because I do feel like today is a real good day. They're coming out thick and fast, to be honest, and as I've said, I really didn't expect that from this area. Wow, so that's 8. I think I am going to call it a day, to be honest. I'm probably going to give it another half an hour before I wrap up, just to see if anything comes in. But I am shocked at that. I'd have been more than happy today with taking 3. That would have been considered a really good bag, just because of the amount of time, effort and work that I have been putting into this area. I've been here since probably January this year, more or less every single week, give or take the few work commitments and bits and bobs, but it's had some hammer, and I've been taking consistently like 1, 2. So they're the kind of numbers you expect. We're in the back end of April now. To bag 8 from an area that I've been shooting for 4, nearly 5 months is incredible, and it just shows that your work's never actually done. You could come here and think to yourself, well, I'm not getting much from the feeder. There's a lot of songbirds. It's an indication there's not many squirrels around here. Tree damage is really low, non-existent really. So that'd be a sign that, you know what, there's not many squirrels here. But it just goes to show you've still got to come. You've still got to put the time in. Even if you come out and blank, it's worth doing, because there are days like this where you will take a big number. And it's not the enjoyment of taking the squirrels, it's the fact that the songbirds have got one less thing to worry about. They can flourish a little bit more. They're going to be building nests and laying soon. So if they've got squirrels to compete with, that's not really a very good thing, because I could tell you endless tales of songbirds nests that have been raided by squirrels that I've witnessed myself, Steve's witnessed, and I'm sure any of you that do this have actually seen and witnessed. So anyway, I'm going to get wrapped up now, get these squirrels picked up, get the rifle put away after about half an hour, and make my way over to the owl keeper.